GM.
Remember at 2,300 we were going at 0?
2,300 ETH?
2,300 ETH, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, it was all doom and gloom. A mere, what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
It was all a Ponzi, crypto, you know, blah, blah, blah.
It's incredible that I remember a time when it went to $100 and people said it was over.
Well,
you kids, you young whippersnappers. At 2,500 on March 15th.
I get that they're also rallying the Bitscorn as, like, you know,
Bitscorn.
Some sympathy, legacy, blah, 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 blah. But I mean,
it's old grandpa Bitcoin.
Old grandpa Bitcoin. I don't know. The ratio, the rate for years I hear about this ratio. It just needs to come to fruition already.
When flippening?
Yeah. Well,
the
later.
Elusive fabled flippening that was supposed to happen in almost. I think the closest it ever came was July 2017.
Well, it's funny because most people think the flippening is market capitalization, which is by and large a really stupid way to value a network. I mean, it's not a company with a balance sheet, so it's just a dumb metric to use anyway. But people usually talk about the market cap.
Well, what would your measurement of the flippening be? Usage?
Dollar price.
Oh.
Nominal dollar. A complete vanity metric. Nominal dollar price for the headline. Just for the memes. Fuck the mechanics of how this should actually work, so we're all smart, highfalutin fucking analysts. No. The nominal dollar amount flipped so that I can go on Twitter and fucking troll Bitcoin maxis. That's all I want.
So 1 ETH greater than 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I know.
Uno Ether.
So when do you think that's going to happen? I don't see that happening. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
I'm not even a Bitcoin maxi. I just don't, I don't even think that's a bad thing.
Who is using Bitcoin? For real. Who is using Bitcoin? And I'm not talking about small, tiny use where you can show like some fucking tiny little country on the other side of the world that's, oh, look, we can use Bitcoin to buy pizza. No, I'm talking about who is using fucking Bitcoin in large billion-dollar transactions to, no one uses Bitcoin anymore.
All right.
It's expensive. It's old.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm doing the light agree to disagree thing. Like I don't think that's any kind of FUD against ETH. Maybe once the if it continues to be deflationary and burn and the usage of it goes up, you're right. I think more people are actively using ETH on a day-to-day basis. Like I can't even dispute that.
There's only one use case for blockchain. Digital provenance. And yes, everyone thought the digital provenance of financial transactions was it. But obviously, nobody cares. Most people still use a bank and a debit card. They haven't gone, okay, that is what you need for Bitcoin to justify $1 trillion valuation. Okay? You're not going to have that. But what you are going to have is people buying cartoon pictures of cats. Always going to happen. People like them. My son, okay, he looks at numbers on a screen. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know what to do with those numbers. He's not fucking like, oh, look at these numbers. I want to make them go up. No, you show him a picture of a dog. He goes, I fucking want that. Think about it.
I swear I'm laughing with you. Your point is totally valid. There is like a primitive desire for these. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
People desire these things. That is the use case for crypto. Everything else is pointless.
Doge.
That's it. This is my point. If we're gonna use something for financial transactions, why not Doge? It's cheaper, okay? It's more adopted by Gen Z than Bitcoin. How many Gen Z own Bitcoin? You know how many of them own Doge? They tip each other on Reddit in Doge. At least they used to. I don't know if they do anymore. Doge is pricey now.
I stopped going on Reddit when I realized that it was... never mind.
All right, I'll one-up you there. I know.
You never went to Reddit?
No. I only knew of Reddit because of Alex Ohanian, a VC that I follow on Twitter, who was one of the founders of Reddit. Yeah. And all he would talk about is this Reddit.
NFT bull.
Yeah.
No. I mean, Reddit is basically just like viral idea campaigns at this point. The idea that everything in the world is working against you for you to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It is what it is. All right. Do you want to do the thing? GM Degens, and welcome to the Monday, March 28th edition of the AM Show, episode 99, the Wayne Gretzky episode. I guess I have to say the obligatory Canadian reference here. I am your host, R2 Degen, and I am joined with me every single morning with Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
GM, sir, how you doing today?
Wonderful. Better than Bitcoin.
Doing better than Bitcoin? That's good, because Bitcoin's doing all right.
Yeah.
It's Monday. How was your weekend? Watching a lot of Raid Party. Finally got a godly spawning. It was a little bit of fun, but the rest of it is not being super friendly right now.
No, everything is down. What is this? Across the board, floors are down. ETH is up. Someone should have told me about this correlation.
Well, it's not always a correlation, but sometimes it is a correlation, I guess, right? No, the volume of ETH has really picked up. Well, we can just jump right into that now. Not a bad little segue. ETH is sitting at 3,300, making a run at 3,400. It has not crossed it yet, to my knowledge, but it looks like it could be well on its way. Bitcoin sitting at 47,000 overnight. These had a crazy run, but even over the weekend, just a solid, steadily march up. In the last week, ETH up 17%, Bitcoin up 14%. Most of the top 100 cryptos are firmly in the green. We're looking at Cardano being up 36% on that Coinbase staking news. Solana, another L1, obviously having a nice little run. But again, it's all kind of leading towards the crypto market cap being up to $2.22 trillion. And it's, kind of following the S&P. Actually, the S&P is having a little bit down this morning after the opening bell, but it was up earlier when I checked. What are you seeing? Does this trend continue? Does it start to flow into altcoins? Does it cool off while we're looking for some resistance? Like, what's the game plan here now that we seem to be going on a upward run?
Right. So once we got up to the 200-day moving average on the S&Ps, we were wondering, well, when will crypto decouple from macro markets? And I mean, that really has to do with the news cycle. We know that the geopolitical issue of Ukraine and the inflation headlines and the oil headlines that kept getting worse, we're presenting a risk-off environment in which everything gets sold. It wasn't about the individual, issues like spot and Bitcoin versus any other risk asset. So when is it going to decouple? I'm not sure yet. It seems that right now, with the S&Ps kind of breaking above the 200-day moving average, but not in a crazy way. I mean, the NASDAQ is up a lot today, and traditionally, blockchain is a lot more correlated to the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is up about 1%. S&Ps are kind of chilling today. Once we got above 3,200, that was when I think NFTs really started to slow down, because that's been resistance on ETH for a long time. Since we broke under there, we had gotten all the way down to 2,300. And now we have rallied back. NFTs managed to rally with it until 3,200. But just like we said last week, if we got above that, that would probably be when we would pause on the NFT side. And that's exactly what's happening today. It is pretty clear right now to 35 and even 3,800. 35 may only be a brief stop. Everything looks like it's going to rally. And then once we get to 3,800 and it pauses, it's likely alt's turn, not NFTs. So we could be looking at a week or two here of NFTs taking a breather, as gas was already averaging and trending higher over the weekend. We still get nice low prices overnight, but boy, it was staying around 40, 50, 60 all day. And if we continue like this on spot and then switch over to alts, you can expect that to go higher, get back into the hundreds, and NFTs to really, really slow down here. So,
yeah, I mean, it is kind of the nature of the beast, but it is a good first step into just some volume, some life, some activity, even on socials. You know, people getting a little bit excited about things, people coming out of the woodworks or the hibernation as you know, they look to start to make some moves and get that the volatility at least going. So you start to see some action. ETH, yeah, hitting its highest since about January 6th. So it's kind of broken through most of the previous resistance points. We'll see how high that can go. Also, kind of just of note that at this point, a bunch of Bitcoin shorts got liquidated as well. Maybe part of the rally upwards, but about $140 million worth of shorts got liquidated this weekend. Also seeing on the Bitcoin chart, it was just looking this up. And maybe you can help me understand what this is, because I thought it was interesting. The 50-day SMA, so the simple moving average, is about to cross over the 100-day moving average, which it typically means pretty bullish on any chart.
It's called a golden cross. And yes, it's bullish. You know, the moving averages, people tend to use them wrong. Okay. They're not a level that if it bounces against or reacts to, you have a very, very high EV play. What they do is their slope is much more important. And even last week when we were talking about, I was telling you, I don't use a lot of indicators. You'll see some traders' charts and they have crazy, you know, MACD oscillators and just all sorts of shit stacked on there. I use two things. I use relative strength and simple moving averages, except on my very short term charts. I'll use a 8 and 13 EMA. It doesn't matter. But the averages had been pointed decidedly downwards since we broke down in February. And we had seen some bearish crosses where the faster moving averages cross down through the slower moving averages. So now you're seeing the opposite, okay, where the faster ones are now crossing back above them. This is what you want. This is bullish, obviously.
And then this one at the beginning of 2022, that would be the death cross, right? The golden cross and the death cross?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, golden cross and the death cross. So right now you would expect things to rally a little more. I would, like I said, I expect a couple weeks here of very bullish action in which NFTs will pause, spot and alts will rally, and then they will pull back to these moving averages because that's what they do. So this is what I would watch for a rally to 3,500 first. Let's see how it reacts there. I think it'll be very tight consolidation and then off to 3,800. So let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and like before, you would say that like that consolidation just below 3,500 is very healthy, right? Like a soft rejection of it and then just kind of sideways for a little bit.
That's what I would think.
Cool. I'm learning. Yeah, perfect. That's pretty much all we've got for the crypto news right now. It's just been kind of up and having a good weekend there. We'll jump into some NFTs. Biggest news probably over this weekend in the kind of big picture NFT stuff is Madonna changing her profile picture to the Bored Ape that MoonPay has bought for her. She tweeted out, "I finally entered the metaverse, my very own ape. Thanks, MoonPay. We all need protection from Evil Eye." I don't actually know what Evil Eye is. I don't know if you have any commentary of it. But again, as we see with a lot of these celebrities, especially some of the older school ones like Madonna, it was met with some fraught and some disapproval by I'm going to just air quote the normies and whatnot. But you know, I love this one that says like just reported Madonna across all socials, as though like that's some kind of report worthy thing. I think the biggest conversation piece about this, and it's interesting to me, was the fact that she actually edited her ape. This ape that she shared on Twitter here, while it does belong to her, is not the original one. I have it pulled up here. This is ape 4988, and this is the one that we could see in the trading. MoonPay bought 14 days ago, 180 ETH. So yeah, almost I guess in today's dollar value, well over $500,000. And now she's rocking it. But obviously they changed the background color. They took the cigarette out of the mouth and changed the eye color. And then there's two camps, kind of like, well, she owns the ape. She could do whatever the fuck she wants to it. And then there was the other side that was like, that's not how any of this works, right? Like, you buy the ape because it is the ape that was generated. It's the one that's, on chain, stored, and has the rights to it and whatnot. And you don't just get to buy an NFT and change it and then post that you have this NFT, because it's a little bit disingenuous. Where are you falling on this? And what do you think the significance of someone like Madonna buying a Bored Ape? And we've actually been speculating that she was jumping into something.
I'm assuming anybody that complained about her changing the ape isn't in NFTs, because that's all people in NFTs fucking do. Go look at anybody's PFP. It's like 6 NFTs smashed into one wearing a different. What are they fucking talking about? It's all people do is change their NFTs once they buy them and adjust them for their fucking things. So I don't even know how that's a controversy. I hope she doesn't accept the offer that's sitting there right now on that ape. That seemed like a lowball to me.
Yeah, that's the definition of a stink offer for sure.
Well, it's not even. There is no collection that is safe when ETH is rallying, and you could bet everybody turns off those bots when ETH is going up. None of those, but you'll notice no one's getting any offers this morning. That's because the people running those bots ain't risking it with ETH rallying the way it is. So
that's a good point too. Actually, I didn't even really notice that, but I've kind of just stopped paying attention.
Yeah, they turn them off.
Yeah, the fact that 0.08 is the highest offer on a pretty publicized ape is pretty funny, actually.
Right. No, and I'm actually surprised that it took so long for this to get into Madonna's hands. As we know, Gaio Series' most famous client is Madonna. So I assume this has been in the works for a long time. They were just figuring out who, what, when, where, and how.
Yeah.
And yeah, good looking ape. In Arab and Jewish culture, the evil eye is like a very famous symbolism. It's what they use to ward away spirits.
Okay.
A practitioner of Kabbalah, whether people know that or not. So
interesting. I didn't realize that.
Probably screamed Kabbalah to her.
Yeah, I mean, Madonna is a huge name. You want to talk about people with diehard followings, that she's right up there with the best of them. Maybe not as relevant as she was to older generations, to the newer one, but definitely still firmly implanted in pop culture. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that we have talked about Madonna and the idea that MoonPay bought her one, or that there was this idea that she was going to eventually get in one, especially with the connection to Gaio Series. Definitely feels like part of their continued marketing plan to kind of stay in the news. We had the CryptoPunks purchase, then we went straight into ApeCoin. ApeCoin carried things through for a while. Then they had the merch drop, which by the way is only for Mutant Ape and Bored Ape holders. And again, we talked about a lot, you have to use ApeCoin to buy it, so just another functionality of it. And now we see Madonna in the news for buying a Bored Ape. So again, they've done a very good job at maintaining just some form of spotlight over the past 3 weeks, and I believe that they will continue to manage that quite well probably indefinitely. Do you think that this is just, the Bored Apes now push to just make some kind of headline like at least once a week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about once a week, and I don't know what the overarching plan is here. And this is going to happen regularly. This is why Gaio Siri is there, and I think this is more important to the ape ecosystem than the tokenomics of ape.
What, Madonna being involved?
Gaio Siri getting into the hands of these type of people is why Bored Apes have the premium that they have.
Yeah, I agree. I think the exposure of Bored Apes and the who's who of holders of Bored Ape is probably going to have a bigger impact on ApeCoin than ApeCoin will have an impact on the actual Bored Apes. I know that sounds obvious, but oftentimes we talk about brands that release a token under their umbrella not really doing it right because the demand doesn't really justify it and whatnot. So I think that this is all just a great marketing plan to manage all of the above. ApeCoin having a little bit of a run to $15 sitting there. It's not the highest it's ever been, but it did have a bit of a pullback down to $12. Maybe actually, sorry, it was $10 on the 7-day, and then having a nice spike back up with the rest of crypto there. So again, the token that's going to power their ecosystem, and I honestly think that $15 could still be a buy here, but you'll want to be holding it for a while too. And I think a lot of the Bored Ape holders that claimed haven't even cashed out yet, if not even just a little bit.
These 80 IQ primate morons held these monkey pictures at 300K, and you think they're selling their ape coin before they get 3 figures? Please, they're gonna hold that shit all the way to $100. You can all take that to the bank. I don't know when, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's rank 55. I know we say market cap's not everything, but it is climbing the ladder of exposure in regular crypto too. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, even just in crypto Twitter, not just NFT Twitter. So we also had a big mint go down this weekend. World of Women Galaxies did their public Dutch auction, started at 3 ETH, minted out around 1 ETH. Probably fell a little bit lower than I think some people were expecting to. But again, Dutch auctions have not been performing super favorably in this market. 1 ETH probably seemed like a pretty fair price for this. After that's been minted out, it's been off to the races, though, sitting at about 1.6 ETH right now. Still have a couple left to be minted. World of Women holders can mint one of these for free. And then there was a public sale allow list sale that will allow you to grab one of these for 0.3. So the total collection is, I believe, 22,000 of them. And, this is the next step in a collection that I think sometimes the relevance of it is completely understated. Again, like it's not quite Bored Ape level, but there is a who's who of World of Women holders, including, Reese Witherspoon leading the charge and looking to put these into mainstream culture. And this secondary project, going back about 7-8 months after the initial launch is doing quite well because of it. And I think they waited an appropriate amount of time to kind of open the membership, so to speak.
I think people miss the mark when they talk about utility. And maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but I don't think utility should be the goal for every project, right? I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it until someone tells me how brilliant it is that NFTs are attention tokens, okay? But so is everything in the world ever, right? What is a movie? It's an attention token. The more people who pay attention to it, the more money that movie makes. The more people who pay attention to an NFT, the more valuable that NFT is going to be. That's what Gaio Siri is doing so masterfully with Bored Apes. They're always getting attention. That attention is the premium that's built into them. World of Women has arguably done that better than any other collection except Bored Apes. They have surpassed Cool Cats as far as who knows about these, Where have they penetrated in the mainstream? These are owned by a lot of celebrities. A lot of famous women celebrities use World of Women as their PFP. You can't say that about Cool Cats. You can't say that about Azuki yet. You can't say that about Doodles yet. Maybe that will be happening very soon. But World of Women is there. And I say this a lot too. When you get to 10 ETH, okay, you have the right to dilute. And it's not dilution, as we know, but people always go, oh no, you're doing a companion collection. It's dilution. For a collection like Alien Friends that has no reason
100%.
to be releasing mutants, sure, it's dilution. For World of Women, there is so much demand for this collection, and they're 10 ETH. Nobody has access to that at 10 ETH. You have to be a celebrity. You have to be wealthy. You have to be well off. Well, the people who look up to these celebrities want in this ecosystem. So enter World of Women Galaxy. And boom, was it a successful drop? I think it's going to go very similar to Mutants, where it was probably a little too hype off the bat. Maybe, I forgot. I think Mutants rallied to 4, 5, or 6 or something.
They dumped down like below mint price very briefly too. Yeah.
But there was an initial rally the week that first week. There was a rally, and then they dumped down really hard, and then they were in depression for a long time. I expect pretty similar action here with World of Women Galaxy. I would say that's an opportunity for any trader and sharp looking. I think this is going to play out exactly like Mutants. Exactly like Mutants. If these things fall back to mint price or, see a pullback here over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you can bet I'm going to be buying. I really do think that this is one of the few projects that has the cash to do this. Most people listening probably thought I meant money, but you got the joke. So
yes, yeah. Actually, you know what? It's so funny. I'm so ingrained to hearing that from you that I didn't even think of like CASH cash, but
the cash pay. I meant to say they have the cash pay to do this versus I think any other project. So I loved the drop. I'm fine with it being a Dutch auction. A Dutch auction makes a lot more sense when you've proven yourself and you're being pretty open about we're doing a raise. We are doing a raise right now, and we want to know how much you're willing, how much the market is going to value us at. This is like a legitimate raise, so to say. But yeah,
I'm certainly less offended by the fact that they did it than a lot of these other projects like Pixel.
Okay, when an unproven team that we don't know has a product yet does a Dutch auction, you're putting a lot of faith into that Dutch auction that they're going to deliver because they haven't delivered anything yet. You just don't know. World of Women has delivered.
Well, you also got to be worried about some shady tactics from the team too, right? Like, I have no doubt that in Dutch auctions, teams out there will in undoxed, unconnected wallets start to do that mint price at the top tier to try and gain some traction and see if people will go, take the bait, so to speak. You definitely see them, announce something like, oh, the first 50 people that mint get this super special utility that, wasn't calculated in the price leading up to it. And, it's typically why I think we're seeing the market reject them. In terms of World of Women, definitely more of a fair market value price discovery, I would think.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that like shortly thereafter, the market has decided that it minted undervalued, right? So 17,000 ETH already traded. That's a lot when you're talking about, 1 ETH to a 1.6 ETH thing. You're talking about 12, 13, 14, 15,000 of these trading hands. And, they've been steady. I would imagine that, based on the playbook that they're doing here, there's probably some potential for, 6 months down the road that maybe we see a World of Women token too, if that brand continues to expand as, you get that base collection like Bored Apes runs up to 80, 90, 100, 125 ETH. It is completely priced out for 99.9% of people. Mutant Apes kind of tag along with it. We saw it go from 4 ETH up to 20 ETH and a little bit above. Again, once you hit that above 10 ETH, you're priced out. Most people are priced out, especially if they're carefully managing their liquidity. Ape coin was kind of the next iteration in that, affordable, being able to buy 1 ape coin, 10 ape coin, 100 ape coin, get to scale your position. If World of Women continue to run, I would maybe think that that's their next play. And based on the amount of time it took them to release World of Women Galaxy, they're not going to be in a hurry to do that. And I think that that's the right play too. I'm looking at this though, and I mean, you made a great point about their cultural relevancy, who they've got on board, the attention that World of Women draws. And depending on who you're following in Twitter, I mean, and that's the big thing, your exposure could be limited, or it could be just like almost annoyingly at the forefront. But I got to believe that, for those extra liquid people out there, 10 ETH is not the worst entrance point into this project either. I could see this at the end of the year being one of the projects that we talk about being like, man, I wish we'd bought that at 8 ETH, 10 ETH. I can't afford one of these. I'm not even going to try. But, they seem to be taking all of the right steps too. And we seem to talk about them a lot because of it.
I am saying this unequivocally. The two best teams in NFTs are World of Women and Yuga Labs. And from every indication, World of Women behind the scenes is as good as it gets. We talk about betting on teams, understanding what's an investment versus a trade. Well, I'm not exaggerating in the least when I say that these guys are up there with Yuga Labs as far as what they're doing behind the scenes and execution. And we could see it playing out in front of our eyes. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch all of this go down. So I mean, keep an eye out for it. I think 1.6 ETH for World of Women Galaxy right now. Have no idea if that's a good entrance point or not.
Well,
I would be watching it, but I do think that if you want to zoom out and you have some patience, that 3, 4, 5 months from now, we're going to be like, damn, that was a good price.
Right. No, I agree. I short term, I'd be wary of the blue chips, as I think they've all run. And if you know how the order goes, you're going to have, the blue chips run. Now you're going to have ETH. This is exactly what happened in December. All right. Apes started running. Bunch of other blue chips followed along. Some blue chips were left out. Then all of a sudden, ETH starts rallying. Everything pauses. ETH goes up to 4,000 by the end of December. Then it stops again, and we fucking giga rally into early January. So,
yeah, I was just checking the price of the Bored Ape floor too, because I wanted to see how it's been responding. 107 floor price, like just still on an absolute
maybe
tear.
They turn the bot back on. I don't know.
I checked the activity though, and boy, I hope that this was just somebody transferring it to themselves. But an hour ago, one just went down for $115 from C-Chan to this. I have no idea. Again, I hope that was just some kind of ploy of like, I'm going to sell this to myself. But
that looks like that looks like a fuck up, because
an offer, right?
Yeah. Ooh boy. Yeah. That guy, they're not a fucking chance, man. How dumb.
Well, yeah, and why are you snap accepting that?
Diamond. It's a yellow diamond. That thing, you'd see that thing upon checkout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doesn't it tell you like, oh, this is 99.9% below floor price?
But that definitely looks like a fucking, 115. That's probably what it would be priced at in ETH.
Well, this person, is that the corresponding mutant ape? I think maybe they sold it to themselves. That's the same ape. Yeah, that's the same ape.
Well, because look, that one was sold for 25 DAI.
From the same person to the same person?
Go see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this was see, they got me.
You think this guy wanted to get on a YouTube show?
We fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Damn.
But the unfortunate reality is we talk about this stuff so much with Bored Apes that it doesn't even register as a surprise, and more like back at it again, right? So what else do we got? We got FVCKRENDER going down with the essence drop. That's for the fuck avatars. It is the mint pass that is sitting at a 0.72 ETH floor right now. The mint was actually quite expensive. It was 0.469 ETH. There's a 13K supply of them. These things are indefinite. There's no impetus to be minting or redeeming them right away once that goes live. But FVCKRENDER continues to be somebody that is pretty heavily discussed in this space, depending on who you're talking about. Very, very quality art. Fuck crystals, they've definitely been higher, about 1.34 ETH right now. If you're a FVCKRENDER fan and love what he's doing, I gotta say that this 0.7 price on the secondary for one of the avatars could be a really, really great entry price into his ecosystem. I know that when you follow him and you look at all the stuff that he's been posting, there's this like very big grandiose scale to everything that he does, and it might be one of those things that 5 years down the road he's just built this entire galaxy of stuff, and all of these things will play an important role in it. I'm not sure how familiar you are with FVCKRENDER, but that's actually looking pretty juicy to me if I was spending some ETH right now.
I've been familiar with him for years. I've never been a huge collector of his work. I like his stuff. He launched his crystals at the end of the last bull market, and they suffered pretty bad during the bear, losing a bit of relevance. They had a bit of pop, as I believe they were mint passes to this avatar drop of his.
Yep, there's access all down the line for all of this stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Very well-known crypto artist. If he's your thing, use your thing. I think that, while he may not be on the caliber of an X copy or a POC or one of these guys, he certainly seems to demand that type of market presence. I know.
Yeah, there's a
bullish on him. I don't disagree. He's just not my.
There's a certain swag to him too, that when he buys into a project, it's not viewed as just like one of these traders that are getting in to try and flip later or dump on the floor. Like, he seems to be more of like a collector and a connoisseur of the space, as well as an artist too. So I mean, there's lots going on here. There's some connection to 888 with the kind of metaverse that he's building, and I don't always love that, as 888's been quite a polarizing figure in the NFT world now. But FVCKRENDER is just he's a good like top tier, not like elite tier kind of player in the space, though. I guess some people would consider him elite tier. Yeah, I guess that's I shouldn't even say that. So keep an eye out on that 0.7. I mean, we're less than 2x over mint price there. So I mean, again, if it's a buy and hold strategy, or you really want this avatar that he's doing, make sure to at least go give this a look. Everai minted out very quickly at the 0.3 Dutch auction yesterday. I've seen this being talked about.
I say it in my head every time.
You just yell it?
Everai!
Yeah, just let it rip, man. Go for it. This minted out 0.3 on the Dutch auction, sitting about 33%, maybe a bit more below it right now. The allow list mint, which will be going for half that price, so 0.15, is still set to go, and maybe that's some of the reason why that this happened. I don't know. Again, like, we might just be seeing some burnout from this meta. We had Muri, which we talked about, sitting at about a 0.8 floor right now. It's still done really well, but didn't quite get that volume to push it over the 1 ETH floor that it keeps taking a stab at. But Kiwami, which is revealing in 2 days from now on the 30th, is actually going on quite a tear. When we looked at this on Friday, it was sitting at, I think, like just over 0.1, maybe 0.13, 0.14. And then pre-reveal, we are taking a run up to 0.5 ETH, and it's looking like within striking distance of Muri. It's kind of cool because again, we're seeing all of these kind of different camps arise, and like, people are staking their claim. Azuki is the one true project, and Muri and Kiwami can go shove it. Muri holders have been very adamant about their project, and now Kiwami is gaining some serious traction. They all seem to be kind of fitting these different niches within it. When you kind of, as somebody that doesn't hold any three and has no like particular allegiance to this, they all kind of seem to fit this specific niche. And I actually just think because of that, they're all going to do very well. we talked about a little bit about the art on this. I don't think the color palette is refined or as refined or like artistic as Azuki. These are a little bit brighter than Muri, but I think these are going to be really excited to see on the reveal. I think that there's a lot of potential for these to do some damage in the future too.
These noses really bother me.
Yeah, you're not a fan of the nose,
triangular.
Yeah, maybe like a slight curve there, just soften it up a little bit. Maybe not. But I mean,
there too.
What's that?
I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have heard good things about all of the art on all three of these projects, and I have heard bad things about all of the art on all of these projects. And again, you talk about evoking emotion and having people like really kind of join up for some rallying cause. Again, like I actually just think that all three of these are going to do pretty well. I mean, Azuki is at this point almost untouchable.
The only thing bad I've heard about Azuki is that I didn't mint enough of them.
This is also true, yeah. Too. I mean, I was taking my my L's in the DGen dojo the other day because I was, making fun of myself for being live and recorded on YouTube for saying that, like, I think it was when these were like about 5 ETH and people were like, "Oh, 10's programmed," and I'm like, I know you remember that. We were like, "You fucking guys, like, there's no way." And then it ran to 10, then it ran to 15, and I mean, this weekend it took a legitimate stab at 20 ETH. It didn't quite cross that on the floor. If it did, it was like seconds before it came falling back down. I mean, still 16 ETH. It's unbelievable. And
it's almost always a good play to sell right before those round numbers hit.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always get a 5 ETH. And I'm sure the wall isn't even thick, but somebody who is like dying for that 20 and then looked at it right when the volume left and then was sitting there watching it for an hour like, fuck, it's not moving. All right, 17. All right, 16. Yeah.
Well, you're always going to get those people too that are like, they held it through that swell and then watched it pull back. And then when it goes on that second swell, they're like, I'm not falling for this again. And then like you sell, you know what I mean? Like, so you definitely have this like pretty healthy redistribution of NFTs into people with new cost average or cost basis on them. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I would say that's a pretty thin floor when you're talking about 16 ETH to 20 ETH, 171 of these. Dingling aped into them, and then it was off to the races. So all it takes is one little pop like that, and you could see a new paradigm for Azuki. But this whole meta, I don't even want to call it a meta. I mean, anime and manga, the style of art is such a huge part of the world. I totally understand why it's appealing to people. I totally understand why it's getting so much play. I don't think that we will see it as just like, oh, the anime meta is back. Like, I think it's a lot like gaming, where it's an existence. It's always going to be there. And sure, some of the attention will be pushed forward on it. And you'll get these like, 2 weeks, a month cycle where all eyes are on that stuff. But, this style of art in gaming, typically I've been playing pretty well throughout all of the ups and downs that NFTs have been seeing. Again, Everai, you're going to watch for it. Again, a lot of polarizing opinions on the sneak peeks. I am worried that these are going to look very, very similar to each other. But again, it all depends on what pops out and what's sitting on the floor once they're all revealed. So this could be a buy here. 0.15 for the allow list is really not that much higher. So you basically have the allow list entry point right now. So
remember, these are priced in Ether, and the Venn diagram of people who own Ether and people who spend a lot of time in a dark room watching Japanese cartoons is basically a circle. So this is why anime will do very well as a meta trend, whatever you want to call it. Bullish on anime.
Yeah, there's literally no reason not to be. My only thing is that like you could put like a whole bunch of different styles in front of me and I would know what I think is aesthetically pleasing and whatnot, but I don't, it's not where like my eye is drawn to, if I'm being completely honest.
There's a very small sliver of that Venn diagram where you can tell the circles aren't completely lined up with each other, and that's where I live, on that little
just
out there. Who does not watch anime, though I respect the hustle.
Yeah, question for the DJs in the chat, though. If you were going to suggest one anime for R2 to watch, if I had to watch one episode of one anime to say this is the one that will get you hooked, like, let me know, because I'll watch it this afternoon.
Easy,
if I can,
easy.
If I can.
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, okay.
Yep. And then, you know, you got to watch Akira.
Okay.
Akira.
We'll see. Oh, yeah, we got Full Metal Alchemist in there. What's that? Shampoo Samurai? Shamdu Samurai. We'll see. Yeah, I'm willing to watch one episode of some, and we'll see if you can get me hooked. I'm not like, I don't hate it. I just, again,
imagine having run a quote unquote DAO at the end of last year that bought blue chips with the proceeds from their NFT sale, and then seeing the SEC and FBI arrest those two kids in California and threaten them with 20 years in prison. I'll tell you, 40. I'd be checking out Airbnbs in Belize right now. No extradition in Belize. Just a hat tip, you know, little pro tip there.
No, yeah, you think the DAOs are falling under that as well?
All I know is if I sold anything last year that wasn't straight, here is JPEG, give me money, I'd be fucking nervous.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I was doing a little bit of a deep dive on that, and it's very interesting for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, and I'm sure you do at this point. And by the way, I did put the Restream link up for the Moon Lounge members. If you want to come up and chat with us, talk about a project or whatnot, it is there. But yeah, the Department of Justice arrested the Frosties NFT rug founders from back in January. They made off with $1.5 million. And I do think that it was the intent that was there that really kind of should make people that were worried about it. Like Squiggles immediately comes to mind, like that crew. But yeah, it was, you know, it was conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to launder money. The money laundering one came from the fact that they immediately put it through Tornado Cash. And then obviously the fraud was they deleted their website. They deleted their Discord. I completely forgot about this, but they actually apologized on Twitter too. They just said, I'm sorry for a while. And I guess that completely absolves them of any kind of wrongdoing, because they, you know, they're at least sorry. But then they deleted their Twitter as well. And now they're back with the Embers NFT.
Gibraltar. That's all. There's no extradition there either. Gibraltar.
If anyone's on the run and needs some help, you hit up old Uncle Free there. It's got the escape.
No. Don't hit me up. I'm kidding. My phone is off. I just Googled this, so I'm just reading.
Oh.
Of course, I don't know these off the top of my head. R2, what is wrong with you?
No, I would never. I would say I never implied that, but I suppose I just did. That you know what though, 20 years. It's hilarious to me because they're 20 years old. They made a quick buck, which I get. Oh, the Art of Seasons. I have that pulled up too. They made a quick buck, and by a quick buck, I mean, you know, $1.5 million. But that project minted out pretty quickly. They had a community. They had some hype around them, and you know, I kind of believe that some kind of follow through not only would be saving them from potentially 40 years each of jail time, but probably a lot more money. I don't know. Like, just throwing that out there. Seems stupid. Why do that? I'm not actually asking. That's a rhetorical question.
Okay, good, because I don't have an answer for you.
No, I know why. I'm just. Oh man, lots of good suggestions there. Bleach, Trigun. Oh, movies are work too. Champloo is older but really good. Cowboy Bebop, FMA. Fuck yeah.
And I will tell you, the Cowboy Bebop live action
I did start watching that. It was good.
with Harold from Harold and Kumar. Wow.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that, although I don't think I don't think I got it in the same way that a fan of the show would, because apparently it was quite well done.
No, well, that's why I think you should watch it, because you'd be like, wow, they really did that well. The TV show.
Let's pull up the Art of Seasons. This was a mint that was struggling not too long ago. I think it went down on March 24th. Just minted out this morning. I saw a lot of whales in the whale watching tracker in the Moon Lounge, aping into this overnight about midnight or somewhere about there last evening. But this minted out at 0.08. I think if I refresh, it's going to go up here. Oh, wow. No, 0.139. I'm not sure if that's an OpenSea bug or not. There's a lot of volume going on in this. This is pretty cool art. I mean, it's definitely that like older school, you know, Asian inspired art, like very muted colors, but quite nice. It's done by this artist, Dirty Robot, who has a pretty considerable following on socials too. So almost 35K on Twitter. I think it's almost 200,000 on Instagram. I'm definitely bullish on people who have large followings across these platforms, because maybe in the short term, Instagram doesn't mean much, but that is a market that will come on live, come online eventually. And I mean, they have built-in marketing. They don't have to pay for anything. They have fans. They have people that understand their ecosystem, their art, and enjoy it. And yeah, this might be one to like look out for. This is a great entry point, honestly. Let's just take a look at the buy now and see how stuck that is. Yeah, I think OpenSea is a little bit stuck, but kind of just popped up. Did you end up seeing anything about the Art of Seasons?
No, I didn't. Never heard of it until now. Looks like beautiful art.
Oh, that's loud. You guys can't hear that.
No, we can't. But we can.
I definitely could.
I know we enjoyed that. We wish.
Yeah, I think this is beautiful art, man. Holy.
Yeah, we talk about getting colors right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. As day turns to night and night turns to day in this endless cycle, the Seasons collection represents those special moments suspended in time, whether it's peaceful solitude or with the ones you love. This collection
how do I
is
give these people my money? What's
yeah, OpenSea now, man.
Oh, it's already minted out. Is it cooking? Oh no,
good to go. You know what? When I had it pulled up, it was about 0.2. It looks like there was a little bit of a dump there. I don't know.
Did the public mint out at 6,800 supply off?
I believe that it was fully public at that point. Yeah. Sorry, I pulled up Azuki.
I'm like, ew, it looks like Azuki. Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, I went through their Discord. It was like 20 on the 24th. The mint started. They kind of put out an announcement like, we're going to keep the mint live. Hold on. And it ended up catching some traction. Yeah, it's stuck 0.16 right now. So 2x mint price.
Nice.
Very cool. And then, saw in the dojo this morning, might be something to watch out for, or might be absolutely nothing at all.
Fucking
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Scam.
This one?
Scam.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the verified Twitter. We all know that that's not a thing that works anymore. This is claiming to be the official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes. Follow with caution. They're following three people.
I saw people share it. Like, come on, guys. Come on.
Well, in the off chance, I wouldn't. Look.
Go see if
they don't.
Them.
Well, that how do you tell directly? Like, because I can't.
Go to TM. Well, go to the TMNT account.
Yes.
And then go into their followers and search for the. There's not a chance.
Oh, they're following.
Yeah.
So Kevin Eastman is the artist that this is supposedly by, as they're following.
Yeah. There is nothing on this earth that I covet more than a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle NFT. This is my reason for existing. What you're looking at here is the same scam that we saw with Naruto.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Only thing is, these guys bought a blue check for their scam. So let's see if they'll get their money back on whatever they're attempting.
I wouldn't, if this was like, if they put out a thing being like stealth mint dropping now, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. If you're really keen on it, I would follow this actual official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Kevin Eastman account, probably both. And if they share anything to do with it, then you know, it's probably game on. But for the short term, beware. That would be a big one though. Ninja Turtles, if nothing else, would like really hit the nostalgia buttons for probably a lot of the NFT world.
There's two options here. Okay, Viacom owns the TMNT property. Okay, so Viacom could do a drop, right? If they did, I would bet it would not be on L1. It would be some sort of Polygon drop, a VV drop, a Wax drop. We already know that they've done drops on Wax.
Yeah,
right?
Chris sharing that too there.
Right, exactly. So there were already a TNT drop. They wouldn't be doing it on L1, right? Now, there is no fucking way this is you got to understand, if an official turtle entity was launching, they'd have instantly 50,000 on Instagram. They would go around to the PR connections they have and make sure that they started with 50,000 followers. They're not going to start with 900 followers on Instagram. Use your fucking brains. Okay. Now, the one thing I will say, the reason I talked about Viacom, and again, I am a TMNT nerd, okay? I know the fucking deets here. Eastman was given in the contract, he sold the property to Viacom for $60 million. In the contract, he was afforded the right to self-publish his own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles properties. I believe it was a comic book, though I don't know how specific the wording is in the contract. He has the right to self-publish one on his own. So he still has the right to use the IP creatively. That's the only thing I'll say about it. So, you know, anything in this world.
So there is potential for him to do it individually, whether or not this is it, which is likely not.
Yeah, I believe. And again, lawyers can be very tricky in wording and shit. He may only be allowed to do like a paper but you know how they write that shit. Yeah. And I don't know how it's written, but Eastman does have the right to self-publish with that IP, his own comic book, whatever that means. If I was him with his lawyers, I would try to expand that into digital comic book, you know, as well, to hopefully get these NFTs going. But yeah. So that's basically it. If it's Viacom, I really don't think they would be doing it this way. And if it's Eastman, first of all, that preview, the art is so low effort and bad. I mean, the first sign to me it was fake was that preview. The ooze looks fucking terrible, you know, going on to that. It's just so low effort and poor. This is it. If I wouldn't be shocked.
Let me pull it up here. I'll show you what you're talking about.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was the exact same.
Yeah, so you get this little preview video. It's their only tweet.
So bad. An insult to those of us that really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
it just has such an unnatural movement there.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how many people were taken by this, but you know.
Yeah, we're gonna be eating Cambo's boogers 3 days from now when the official TMNT thing retweets it. Yeah, but until then, okay. What's that?
I said that's a little crass, but okay.
Yeah, Cambo's getting real aggressive this morning. Chill out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Henry just dropped his NFT report. Always love reading through that. Bapetiverse, man, I just realized that's 1.7 ETH floor. Has that even revealed yet?
Yes, Chase. I did see Will Smith slap.
We didn't even talk about that
last night. And there is even a Will Slap DAO
Yeah.
minted this morning.
And NFA on that one. Holy.
And there is a Will Smith Inu coin that launched on a DEX. Yeah, so if you want to invest in yesterday's meme, there is the DAO and there is a token, the Will Smith Inu coin. So if you'd like to try to play that meme, go for it.
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, I mean, fuck, people are quick to put anything out there. It's hilarious.
It happened within an hour of the slap. The Will Smith Inu coin had launched and was tradable on Uniswap.
That was wild. I wasn't watching it live, but of course, check on Twitter and Instagram, and it was blowing up. And, you know,
Right.
There's that immediate reaction of like, let's try and see if this was staged. But man, if those reactions were staged, which they weren't, but if those reactions were staged, I mean, they would have been worthy of an Oscar themselves.
Gentlemen, this is a lesson. Okay, I want you to really observe what happened here last night. Will Smith was at an award show where everybody only cared about him. He was the reason, you know, people were there. I mean, Will Smith, he's the biggest star in the world, right? He was enjoying the shit out of the comedy act that the Academy, I'm sure, paid lots and lots of money for. And
they loved that. That was the best thing that could have happened for them.
And it's a comedy act that that pushes the edge, that is can be, you know, roasting of certain celebrities. Happens every year. So Will Smith is sitting there enjoying the shit out of the joke. He even enjoyed the joke about his wife until he glanced over and saw what was the coldest, iciest look on a human being that I have ever seen in his life. And of course, having lived with this person for decades, he knew what that look meant. Either he goes up there and does something, or he's sleeping in the Aston Martin tonight. Right?
Not a lot of legroom.
And he said, oh, fuck, I guess I got to do it. He mustered it up. He went up there and he gave it his best movie. I mean, you can tell that this man has been trained in the art of movie fighting for I don't know how long. This pimp slap was so perfectly orchestrated and dramatic. The shots that we got from they're legendary. I mean, this meme will break all other memes. And then he walked back to his seat, sat down, and just in case the show wasn't killed enough, he reiterated the reason he went up there, and he said, keep my wife out your fucking mouth. Now,
nice. Yelling it.
So
it was awkward in there, man. Holy.
There were two very interesting camps, okay? And these were all coming from the, you know, teach your son this people, right? The people who are, you know, the alpha males who have substacks about, you know, how you're supposed to act out there and, you know, not let blah, blah, blah. So it was interesting how they were torn. Half of them were like, that's what a man should do. Go up and defend his wife. And the other half were like, that man is whipped harder than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He was enjoying himself. And he had to go up there and make an ass because he got a cold look from his wife because she couldn't take a joke. Come on. This was poor behavior on Will Smith's part.
And then he had to go up there and accept his Oscar for Best Actor.
Wow. As if we couldn't have a more perfect.
He probably didn't even win that. And like they just threw an audible at the last second and be like, get this guy up on stage. He won. No questions asked.
People comforting Will Smith before he went. I wouldn't have comforted that motherfucker. Are you kidding me? What disgusting behavior. In a civilized show with decorum to go up there and just slap somebody because he made a joke. What kind of small man do you look like that you can't sit there and take a joke? Come on.
Well,
this is fucking hot. This is ridiculous.
I think every other celebrity is like, I saw this like floating around like, wait, we can hit the hosts because like Ricky Gervais is hosted the Oscars, and I mean that man is ruthless.
I was going to say this was nothing compared to Gervais. I mean, this was just, honestly, Jada Pinkett Smith and Scientology are just not something you want to move in with. And this is what our boy Will Smith has to deal with every day. And she's out there. I don't even want to get into what are we even talking about?
It started with a DAO. It all starts with DAOs.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It was. They'll be standing in line to slap Gervais. Yep. Oh, for sure. For sure. All right, man. What do you? Anything else you want to talk about? What do you got going on today? Waiting for the raid party bounce. We should probably give raid party a mention. We talk about it when it's up. We could talk about it when it's down. Confetti had the rise and fall over the weekend. 30. It was over $30 at the beginning. Last time we had the show, sitting at $18 right now. Little bit of a fall from grace, but
I did buy a lot of confetti over the last couple of days.
You bought the dip? Buying the dip?
You know, you have to watch. It's very interesting, right? So I always have a Uniswap window open with a calculation of what 100 confetti is. Because if you watch, there are constantly disparities with the floor about, think about this, right? 100 confetti is how you summon a new fighter. You should get a pretty nice discount on an 800 fighter, which is the worst fighter you could get, versus a 1400 fighter, which is the best fighter you can get. And the 100 confetti should have a premium to the floor because of the chance that you may mint a 1300 plus fighter. Often, that doesn't exist. In fact, there were times yesterday when the floor was more expensive than 100 confetti. Well, if you're watching every day, you're trying to trade this thing and you believe in the long term, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. So if you looked a couple weeks ago when Pranksy and a few other people were sweeping every day, it was actually because the floor price compared to the confetti was a very good deal. Instead of wasting your confetti to mint something that would burn, just sweep them off the floor and use those as your burns. Doesn't even matter what level they are because they were cheaper than using the 100 confetti. So you could actually sell your confetti, sweep the floor, pocket the difference if you didn't need any more 1300 plus. It all depends on your party, right? If your party's full, you only need burns at that point. So why not just sweep the floor if it's cheaper than 100 confetti? So over the weekend, this had flipped around. 100 confetti was actually more, it was cheaper than the floor. So, I was buying confetti this weekend. It's been up and down, sitting at $18 right now.
And are we looking at guilds soon? Is this the word on the street?
There is no guaranteed date, but guilds are soon. They've actually told people to start applying. I know the teams are getting together and figuring out what to do. It is a 500 confetti entrance.
But there was like an application kind of system too, right? Where you could be exempt from that or get access to it.
Yes, depending on, they want these guilds to be marketing for them. If you are a famous gaming team, like I don't know what these pro gamer teams are called, like E3 Laser Gang or whatever. If you're E3,
I know what I'm calling my esports team now.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're E3 Laser Gang, they may waive that 500 confetti because you're so popular on Twitch and that type of thing.
Well, for those AlphaMint members that are playing Raid Party and want to get in on one, we are starting to form and talk about it. You opened the channel yesterday, I think, right?
I opened the channel yesterday. I'm going to talk with Zark and the guys over at RP. I just want to see what we have to do, what the requirements are. And then, look, my guess is that if you have a very, very small team, it's probably not going to be worth the 50 confetti for you to join a guild. I'm not sure. I have to read the white paper again, look into the details of what the benefits of these guilds are and weigh whether that's worth, the $1,000 you'd have to pay to get in. Because these are 10 team guilds, 500 confetti to create. So everyone has to put in 50.
Yeah, it's not cheap for sure. There are some good benefits, but I would have to go back through the white paper, and I'm sure that they're probably going to make some adjustments based on the course of the game so far. But yeah, I mean, we're hitting a down point. I mean, we can't discredit the fact that with ETH going on that run, there's definitely some people that are seeing that confetti be diminished in ETH terms and probably taking it while they can.
Well,
and if you hit that top, like that was probably a nice ARB.
Well, believe it or not, the rally before may have screwed us a little bit on the short-term dynamics, because the way that Uniswap V3 works, staking is a lot different than in V2. So when you stake in an LP in V3, you basically claim a range, right? And this is when people talk about impermanent loss and all that type of stuff. It doesn't matter whether the coin goes up or down. You just want it to stay in your range. That's how you make money. Because if it goes too much one way or the other, the counterbalance to your pair goes away. In other words, if all that happens is if your coin rallies too far out of range, then all there is the underlying token and none of the ETH left. Like all ETH gets eaten up. So all your value would be in an example here in the confetti, but now there's no liquidity in the pool. So what is that confetti actually worth? If they withdrew that confetti, it would just go to zero. So as we rallied to $44, it went out of range for the people that had staked the LP. They got scared. They pulled their money. And then when the inevitable rally came to its end and people started selling, the downside effects were exacerbated. So, everyone's like, oh, did they fuck up? Is it wrong? I actually don't think so. I just think the way it's set up, you're going to see huge volatility like this, because as fighters get cheaper, now we're at a point where if we went back to $25, then we would be right back at the top of that yield list, because buying a hero right now is 0.7. And if you stake that hero and the coin's at $25, it's the best yield in the entire game. That was the marketing and advertising that really got us going the other week. And we're basically right back at that sweet spot. So certainly, as R2 said, rallying isn't helping the cause, is people just aren't looking to buy NFTs right now. So, when that's the case, that's the case. But I don't think anything long-term is different than what we were talking about the other week. Do we want it back at $44? Sure. But right where it is right now, this game is still the best yield out there pretty much. So.
Well, yeah, Metroverse has taken the Metroverse Blackout has taken the top spot there. But yeah, still going strong. Hero is still 270%, even with the depressed price. A hero and a fighter sitting at a mere 331% ROI.
When did he update this one, today, or was that
45 minutes ago? Yeah, I just managed to cut that. Yeah, so.
And where was the raid party?
Raid party is technically number 2. He split them up, so it's one hero, one fighter, or
it was lower. It was lower last week.
Oh, was it?
But that's the thing. When we rallied too much and the assets had rallied too much, it knocked us out of the top 3, I think. We weren't even in the top 3 at one point. And that's why I said that now that we have pulled back here and heroes are back to 0.7, we're going to creep up towards the top of that chart again. So I could see us getting back to number 1 tomorrow if we find support here on confetti. And I don't know about other people, but I have certainly been buying confetti over the weekend. The liquidity pool is probably the most.
Are you buying it just as a curiosity, and whether you want to share your strategy or not? Are you buying it to help enhance your team, or are you buying it with the idea that maybe it runs up and you're buying the pair to kind of refund?
Okay, so fighters, I'm bearish on the price of fighters. Like I would I am buying confetti when I think it's cheap relative to the fighter floor.
Gotcha.
Basically buying myself time, right? Because the more that I can, I think you're going to have to get ahead of this thing, all right? You're going to want to be making 10 times what you think you're going to want to, because when this does eventually pull back and find a range, it's gonna pull back a lot, right? So I'm basically Basically just trying to get my damage up as much as possible, as quick as possible. Luckily, I have 3 heroes. So anytime I mint something that isn't 1300 plus, I throw it to one of the other heroes and just let it sit there until I can. Basically, I want to max out my best hero, right? Get them up to max party, and then up to a +2 on enhancement. Once you get above +2 on enhancement, the EV for enhancing starts to fall dramatically, and we have to wait for the economy to shift. You know, early on, the way the economy is, we have very expensive confetti, very expensive fighters, and very cheap heroes. That's going to change, okay? This economy is going to flip around, and we're going to have fighters eventually 15th the price of heroes. Now, if that happened now, fighters would be 0.05. We obviously don't want that. We would expect heroes to get up to 2, 3 ETH or something like that, and fighters eventually fall to 0.2 for the burns, for the floor fighters, okay? That is a decent entry to the game, similar to orcs. Anything more expensive than that, it's a tough entry for the average person. Now, if it had influencer, wolf game, like hype, it wouldn't matter. I mean, you know, because then you'd have wealthy people aping in at the high prices, and that would force everything higher. We hope we get there, but for a long-term sustainable game, you do want as low a cost of entry as possible. So the economy is going to flip on its head. And right now, confetti is very expensive and fighters are very expensive because we are in the phase where people know you want to get your damage up as quick as possible. This way, when the crash does come, you're still making a really nice EV on your party. So.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. The one thing that you said that I wanted to point out, because it's really important, is buying confetti is buying you time. And time is valuable, right? And that's, you know, a lot of times people will ask, like, well, why does any of this matter? Well, you know, if there's demand for the game, if there's demand to play the game, to expand the game, participate, then time and money are very transferable. That's you know, it's important. People forget that. All right, I'm going to say we could probably wrap this up right now, sitting on 1 hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, love to see you. Love to be back on the stage. We talked a lot about the crypto market going up. I mean, obviously, that's the talk of the town. We see ETH and Bitcoin, some of the other L1s running. We might be looking into altcoin season next, as the money likes to flow around that way. NFTs maybe being put on pause, but it's not all doom and gloom. There's definitely some floors that are running and having a good time. We talked about Madonna getting into Bored Apes, went a little bit more about Bored Apes, the ape coin, the merch drop that they're doing. Great discussion on World of Women Galaxies that dropped over the weekend, and how, you know, this might be the next like number 2 project out there. Galaxy's doing very strong at just over 1.5 ETH and might be a great entrance point into their ecosystem, as you know, they've had a strong showing over the last 8-9 months since their inception. Talked a little bit about FVCKRENDER dropping his Essence, which is the mint pass for the fuck avatars. Went back into Everai. We talked a little bit about the Muri, the Kiwami, the Azuki, and now the Everai. Kind of, I'm going to call it a meta, and how that's all working. Really interesting project popped up overnight, The Art of Seasons by Dirty Robot. If you don't know what that is, I would at least suggest going to check that out, because it looks great. And it caught a little bit of a hype cycle last night. And then we just talked a lot about Will Smith at the end of it. So appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Free market, do the thing.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.